Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Discover the Munay-Ki Rites, Sacred Andean Codes for Creating the Prophesied Shift to a More Compassionate World. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm thrilled for a day like today where I'm getting to explore some really important understandings that are new to me from a true pioneer in this field. Her name is Marcela Lobos. She's a vision keeper of the Four Winds Society and author of the Sacred Andean Codes, which I know have a lot to say about the times that we're in and the larger shift that we're all really incarnated to help create. So Marcela, thank you so much for joining us today. I understand from Chile.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. It's amazing to be with you finally. It has been a while since we have been meaning to connect, and I'm so grateful and honored to be part of the shift. So I am happy to share about the Munay-Ki rites, a little bit about my story with them, and anything that can serve our audience.
Beautiful. Well, let's dive right in. I think it's always great to have that personal backstory of your journey into the Munay-Ki rites, and so begin with that part of the story.
Yes, well, Munay is love, that unconditional love, that beautiful heart that it's intrinsic to every single human being. And even behind all the protections that we might put in front of us and pretend that we are angry people or that we are big bodies, but behind all of that, we all have a beautiful, soft heart, and that's what's recognized with the word Munay. And Ki is a pretty universal word for power, for force, for strength, for Qi in Chinese or Oriental medicine, the Qi. In Chile, where I'm from, the medicine people are the Ma Qi, the ones that have that power, and they're the mothers, the women, Ma Qi. And it's interesting, the Himalayas, they are the Am Qis, so just the opposite, Am Qi. So the Qi is it's a sound, it's a sacred sound. And my first encounter with the Munay-Ki was when I was having a very difficult time as a mother with 2 children, living in the United States, alone, no family, feeling pretty hopeless, desperate, helpless, really feeling vulnerable with an uncertain future because I was divorcing. And then somehow I was called back. You know, the hero's journey, the first thing that happens is that call to adventure. I had been on the adventure, but now the call back home. So I was called back to the Andes, and I managed to have someone to look after my kids. And I landed in the Andes of Peru, actually. And I have spent a lot of time there in my youth, hiking the mountains and surfing the Pacific Ocean. And I ended up actually in a journey with the Four Winds Society to the sacred mountains where the shamans from the area, the Pacos in that ancient Quechua language, were offering one of the initiations of the Munay-Ki, the Mosok. And I received this initiation with an altar that looks like this. This is a mesa. And they were hitting me on my body, on my head, on my heart, on my belly to kind of like open me up to remember who I was. So it feels to me like these initiations are like lightning bolts. And that's a metaphor they use in the Andes. Like you are initiated by lightning. And literally, like if you survive the lightning, you become a shaman, a medicine person. So these initiations actually are meant to come to the protege like lightning. And that's what it felt to me. What came in, and this Mosok initiation, the new rite, it's kind of like an opening to who you are becoming, so you can really rapidly shed whom you have been, so you can be released from the grip of your past and open to the possibilities of your destiny. And that was my experience, actually. So from being super vulnerable and uncertain about my destiny, after that initiation, I went back home and everything changed so rapidly. And I began walking the medicine path of the Andes.
Well, it's a powerful story, and I like that you're sort of like talking about this sort of initiatory power. It sort of almost like jolts you like the lightning bolt out of an old habit pattern or old identity. Maybe share a little bit more about like how to like really surrender into that. Besides, if you don't have somebody who's like pushing a mesa on you at the moment or hitting you with the mesa, sorry, how do you really kind of open up to those shocks of life that can open us to a deeper kind of love in this case?
When you ask that question, I just kind of think of epiphanies and aha moments, peak moments that we can have in life. So I feel like when we pay attention to those and just really embrace the gift, then we can actually avoid the stick on the head, like that accident, that accident on a car, or just hitting your head from not really realizing that you are being called to a more sacred life. So we can end up in a very difficult situation with someone that we really love very sick, or ourselves with a big illness. So that's the way that Spirit calls us, when we don't hear the whisper, when the call comes softly, like with the wind, like a whisper. And when we don't pay attention to that whisper, then the call comes in a hard way. So the medicine people in the Andes knew how to bring these jolts to a person and open them up so they could receive energetically. We speak about seeds in the Andes, these seeds that will start germinating and just bearing different life force inside of us, and fruits eventually, and a new life in that way. So
I love this metaphor of seeds getting buried within us, and so maybe talk a little bit more about how Ki is differentiated. It's not just one big abstract thing. It's actually different dimensions of Ki that can open in us. Maybe share more about that.
Yes, I resonate with the idea that many traditions have, that we already have all the potential of whom we can be inside of us. So from that place, we're all essence and we're all source, we all connected to the source of consciousness and the source of the cosmos and all of that. But sometimes this is not activated in us. So I like to say that these seeds activate what is dormant, the potential that is dormant. And if it's already activated and awakened, it empowers it. So it empowers us to develop everything we are, from earthy and minerals and just Mother Earth embodied in a body, and all the way to who we are as spirit and consciousness and so forth. So it's interesting, the metaphor of the seeds in the Andes, because they were master farmers. They created, since 8,000 years ago, more than 4,000 types of potatoes. Can you imagine that variety, when in the US, at least, you only hear about Idaho potatoes, I don't know, but or 3 kinds of potato. But in the Andes, they have everything from little white ones to purple ones to big ones and curly ones. I mean, the amount of potatoes is amazing, and the corn as well, from white big kernels to small little black kernels. It's really incredible. So they really live the metaphor of seeds in everyday life. And they bring it to their spirituality, that is a very embodied spirituality.
I'd love for you to connect the concept of the Munay-Ki rites with the elements, since that's a very common understanding of like the different ways that the elements of Earth like live through us.
Well, one of the Munay-Ki rites is connected to the 5 elements: water, fire, earth, and air, and then they say pure light. And today, in the experience that I'm going to offer, I am going to guide a journey to remember how the elements live within us, and in that way, how we are one with nature, and not how we learn to objectify nature, of course, in our Western culture that is, I think, therefore I am, and then from the head, objectify everything. But like, remember that we are borrowing the elements, this body, this temple, for our consciousness to inhabit and to play, not just to suffer, but to play.
How did the elements in terms of Andean cosmology show up in our body and our field?
Well, they always say the waters are, the rivers are our veins, and the earth and the minerals in our bones, and the breath is the air, and the fire is in our digestion, and alchemizing everything within. But then these rite in particular, the bands of power, help us create protections with the elements around our body. So we can really learn to use the elements in our day-to-day lives, and work with it to alchemize those heavy energies that we may be carrying. And then also, very important, this mental emotional protection that we might have built up to feel less vulnerable in the world. So these bands of power are meant to offer a protection, and also help us compose and shed and release what is already obsolete and is making us sick and is toxic. So the elements can do all of that, nurture us and also purify us. So we work with them very consciously.
Can you give an example of how you might take one of the elements and create a conscious band of protection for yourself for a specific purpose?
Okay, so we're getting really into the experience here. We're going to create a belt around the belly area, around the body, at the level of, the second chakra, just below the belly button. And then we're going to summon the earth element from nature, but from within as well. It's within us. So I don't have to, okay, so then we're going to do the same with the water at the level of the solar plexus. And the same with the fire at the level of the heart, and the same with the air, the level of the throat, and pure light at the level of the forehead. So we're gonna use the earth element to sow the seeds of whom we want to become in our lives, so we can co-create with spirit and not just be waiting for our fate to land on us, but we are conscious co-creators. We dream the world into being. And so we sow the seeds in that fertile black belt band of earth. And then we also, anything that it feels heavy and that needs to be composted, we send it down. And you can see that like literally, we want to be composting down there where the intestines are, sending that what we don't need anymore to become compost for the seeds that we're sowing. And then the waters are going to water those seeds so they can germinate. Then the fire is going to warm those seeds so they can actually come up and really become, just grow, as make our manifestations grow. And then once we dream the world into being, manifest, then we have new seeds. We give fruit, and those fruits have new seeds. And then the air spreads those seeds into further territories. So what happens that is really important for the Andean people is that we expand our consciousness so we are not living from this very needy little me that is a kid that really needs. And when the seeds land in my neighbor's gardens, or even the other community's garden, or the other side of the world garden, then my consciousness also lands there. And I start really seeing and loving the other. And it's about we. So we become earth keepers. So really the Munay-Ki is the Andean compass, vehicle, model to go to mature, to go from me, to we, the community, to us, the region, to the whole world. And then to cosmos, to being part of the galaxy and the whole universe. So we really remember who we are at all those levels.
It's a beautiful description, and it's really clear, like that's at the heart of maturation into true love, is the going beyond the me into the sacred we, and being able to honor the divine in all. I love the way you're also talking about how these seeds get planted in each level of our energy body, sort of from the second chakra to the sixth, working with the different elements so that we can kind of blossom into a wholeness that's in relationship with the earth. I wonder if you could share a little bit more about that. I know that Pachamama and kind of there's a reverence for earth that is so central to Indian cosmovision that I think is an important medicine for our time. So share a little bit about your perspective on that and why that's something that we really need to cultivate in our modern lives.
It's so important today that we reconnect with the earth, because otherwise we are doomed. We need to remember how to be in reciprocity with her. And that's known in the Andes as Aini, to be in right relationship with the elements. And let's remember that shamanic traditions are animistic. The anima, the soul, is in all nature, in the rivers, in the trees, in the mountains, in the rocks, in the stones. We speak with nature. Everything has consciousness, some more acute consciousness, higher vibrations, some more slower, dormant consciousness, but everything in the Andes has consciousness, and we can speak with it and need to be in right relationship with that, with everything, so we can be in health. So when we are not in health, then we need to look at how have we just step out of that balance with the elements and with others, with other people, with the community next door, with the whole world, with the stars. And always when there's something out of balance, it's like, okay, when I have a problem, instead of pointing the finger, blaming, feeling sorry, I'm a victim, it's like, okay, how I have come out of, how am I just not in my Hatumnyan, great path? I'm a person that is from the stars, from the heavens, from the great spirit consciousness, and I'm embodied here in the earth. So that's a Hatumnyan. I have to walk, with the red, they say the red and the white, in the red and the white path of the blood and of the stars of the light. So always, like, everything is like a sign that I need to get back into my path.
Beautiful description, and really it's such important medicine for our moment now, and we're sort of so dissociated from nature as a species. So I think that would be a great time to transition now to the practice you want to guide, really a sort of a glimpse into these initiation rites that I think are really such good medicine for the moment.
Thank you, Stephen. Something's coming through at this moment. Have you ever looked at Alex Gray's painting that has a lot of eyes?
Yes.
Sometimes, he draws these eyes in the body and around in the luminous energy field. And to me, that represents consciousness. So I feel like the Munay-Ki rite awakens our consciousness, body consciousness, bones consciousness, organ consciousness. and then our mind consciousness, heart consciousness. So it's like more eyes in us open. We start opening our eyes more to the present, to reality, whom we really are, and just kind of wake up from that sometimes awful nightmare that we're living. Some people are really in the rat race, and it can be awful. So it's kind of like waking up to true reality. Yeah, that image just came up. But let's prepare for the experience as you invite me to do. So let's take a few breaths, everybody. Inhaling deeply to release any tension in the body. How can we relax, let go of tension from the body with our breath? How can we release also any preoccupations or emotional tension right now to open ourselves to the experience? So some mindful breaths. And we can give everything we have been carrying that is heavy, give it all to Pachamama. She is amazing at digesting and composting and giving new life with those heavy energies. So let's never be afraid to just fully release whatever we don't want to carry any longer. And already embracing the air element with our breath. And feeling grounded on the land, even if we're in the 10th floor in the middle of a city, Pachamama, the land, Mother Earth is beneath all that cement bricks, and she's breathing, and she's breathing us, she's inside of us, we are her too. So feeling her pulse in our own hearts, and her magma, her inner fire within our own bodies, activating us. And then always it's good to honor the guardians and keepers of the land where we are, the ancestors, the medicine people, the wisdom keepers that looked after the land, the earth keepers. Just if anybody's there, any ancestors, just acknowledging them with gratitude. And now summoning the earth element, that fertile black color earth that is known in the Amazon jungle as terra prieta, black, so fertile. And we summon it from the land around, and even from the jungle, from wherever you can imagine, because we are connected to the whole planet. So from wherever it wants to come, the earth, black, fertile earth element, let it come and start forming a belt around your body, 4 fingers below your belly button, and about 4 fingers wide, a belt. That it can also actually be like a disc, so it can come out a little bit out. It can also be a little thick. And call the earth also from your own body. This fertile earth lives within you. You're an ecosystem. So feel, imagine, co-create this black band. And take a deep breath to make it be alive and pulsating with life. And let's get ready now to call on the waters. From wherever they may come, call on the waters of life, the most clear, purified waters you can imagine. From some waterfall or some little trickle of water, pure, coming to nurture you, to feed you, to purify you, and start forming that band, that belt, at the level of the solar plexus. And your own waters start forming this disc, belt, band around. And know that the waters are with you always. And they are your allies when you know how to work with the waters. And feel it like a river just flowing around your body at the solar plexus level. And now we're going to call on the fire element from within the earth, or even from the sun, a quantum of fire to come and start forming a disc, a belt, a band at the level of the heart, and your own inner fire to come and join. And it's like a ring of fire around you. And let the fire be alive and warming, not burning you, but warming, nurturing you. Golden color. And now we're going to prepare to call on the air element that is always passing through our throat. So from without and from within, summoning the air to form like a necklace, a disc, a ring around the neck at the level of the 5th chakra, throat, the hollow of the throat. The wind that can purify your words, your expression, your singing, your truth, your passion. Let the wind accumulate and just really flow. Let it flow around you like a ring of air. Okay, and this is silver color, like the color of the moon at night, when everything shines silver, especially when it's wet and the full moon lights these wet surfaces. It's silver, so give it the color to this wind, the silver color. And now we're going to calling pure light, the most pure, whitest light, most radiant light you can imagine. For the Andean people, it was that white that was in the glaciers, the most pure glaciers, the most pure snow white, that is so white that has the rainbows just shining on them, all the colors of the rainbow. So that pure light coming to form a belt around your head at the level of the 3rd eye, at the 6th chakra level, forehead. Yes, so a belt of pure light that can really purify your thoughts, your thinking. So it can just alchemize those heavy thoughts that you might have, thoughts that they can just be repetitive and obsessive and just heavy and make you worry all the time. Let this white light just shine on that and let it melt all that heaviness. Okay, so let's contemplate what we have created. The black band around the belly area, the red band, color of the blood, water, around the solar plexus, and at the level of the heart, the golden band, fire element, at the level of the throat, silver color, wind element, And at the level of the forehead, white band, pure light. All right, and take some breaths as you contemplate. They're moving, they're pulsating, they're rotating, they're alive. The elements are alive, and they can always nurture you or purify you. Okay, now take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is it something that you long for? Something that you would like to manifest in your life? Something that is a deep desire of your soul? Not something necessarily material, but more like a quality for your life. More joy, more community, more music, whatever it might be that you really deeply desire or need for making your life more healthy and joyful. And then blow that in your hands. What is that deep desire? And blow it, imagine that you're putting seeds on your hand. The seeds of what you want to manifest. And because you're one with nature, you can blow seeds of life. And then sow those seeds on that black band. Just spread them around the fertile earth at the belly level. Around, just spread it around in your black fertile earth. And let the seeds bury themselves there, because seeds need darkness to feel safe and to concentrate their potential. And now, with the red band of water, imagine that you are allowing some of that water trickle down over the earth like rain. You're your own ecosystem, your nature. You can water your seeds, the seeds of your becoming. And when the seeds receive the water, they get really ready to germinate. They get wet and fat, and they want to germinate. So now we're going to shine the light of the fire band, of the solar band, golden band. We're going to shine that light over the seeds, and we're going to watch the seeds sprout. This is us co-creating with the elements. We're seeing our intentions sprout and give fruit. So we can imagine how our intentions start germinating and growing and eventually ripen and give fruit and new seeds. And we're doing this energetically, symbolically, but the reality follows energy. We organize reality energetically. So everything we're doing is going to manifest then literally. So let's keep going now. And imagine that these new seeds are blown with the winds of our air band, the silver band around our neck. And the wind blows its seeds to where you need to go in your destiny, your highest destiny. So from that intention, what is your hatunyan, your greatest destiny, most auspicious path? Let the seed land, the seeds land, the new seeds land where they need to land. New areas of your life, or new places, or new people, new relationships. Let them land. Allow yourself to break open to new opportunities, to new goodness. So trust the wind element. And now you are breaking open from the life that you had, and you are bursting into new potential. And now with the pure light, we're gonna shine that pure light, like those glaciers in the Andes of pure white light just shining on the landscape around. We're gonna shine that light, pure consciousness light, into all the new seeds. So pure goodness can come from whom you are becoming, from the new seeds. Just really shine consciousness. So only good can sprout from your intentions that you first sowed, that you first planted. And taking a deep breath, let's say thank you to the element of pure light and letting it rest around our head, and know that it's always there whenever you want to access it. And then saying thank you to the wind element around the throat, always there, helping us speak, helping us express ourselves. And we can access it anytime. And then saying thank you to the golden band around the chest, around the body at the chest level. And let it rest there, like just rest. Easy, nothing to do, let it rest. And saying thank you to the waters at the level of the solar plexus, that water that can actually calm our liver when it gets heated up and inflamed, and then we become irritated and angry. Even physically, we can have the elements just really heal us, help us heal. So thank you, waters, for calming the fire of the solar plexus of the liver. And then let it rest, let the waters rest. And finally, the earth element, know that it's always accessible. Let's say thank you. And trust that it's always composting anything that is too much, too heavy for you to carry. So always trust to give to the earth what you don't want to carry any longer. And remember to sow consciously the seeds of your becoming and having the elements as your allies. Thank you, Pachamama, and Mother Earth, Mother Water, Mother Minerals, Mother Grass, Mother Nature, thank you. And to the lineage that brought this initiation, this rite, this contemplation to us, this lineage from the Andes. Aho.
Well, thank you. Marcella, that was really just beautiful and really brought alive the power of these teachings. I could just feel the contrast between how we often think of goal setting or intention setting in a kind of a more dissociated way, just like we want to set a target, or versus the more of like this organic unfolding, the planting of seeds and infusing them with the natural elements, and just kind of having a deeper trust that they unfold in their own way. It's really quite beautiful.
Mm. Thank you, Stephen. So what comes to mind at this moment is the path of the Andean medicine person is it's very human in the sense, see the word, I love how the word human has that seed sound, hum, is like humming, but also humble, and humus means earth. So it's very rooted in the humus, in the earth, and makes us, so that's to me, this path of the Andes is like walk in a very humble way, and humble not meaning in any degree like weak, but really rooted, and knowing that the power comes from the elements. So the Andean people never work alone. And they always say, in your name, Mother Earth, in your name, Great Spirit. And that's something I learned here, how, because sometimes in Western culture, if we are like a renowned healer or doctor or anything, we feel like it's all us, but we forget to acknowledge all the ancestors that are there, the lineages, the muses, the spirit that's coming through. So the Andean people always say, in your name, Mother Earth, in your with the power of the mountains, with the breath of the Great Spirit, and make us walk in that very humus way. And then it takes a lot of pressure off too, because imagine if it's you that is such an amazing whatever, the pressure is and you have to always perform so high, and it's so much pressure. But it's when you always say, it's really not me, it's spirit, and it's the mountains, and we're co-creating and never doing anything alone.
Beautiful. I really resonate with what you're sharing. And I wonder if you could link it to one other thing that we talked about in describing today's call, which is the difference between states of consciousness and stages of consciousness. Because I imagine in this Indian perspective, you're not trying to get to these kind of ever sort of more refined or dissociated stages, that it's like you're more rooted in the earth. And maybe share a little bit about how consciousness unfolds in this path in this more kind of organic way in terms of stages.
Yes, really important, because sometimes nowadays a lot, people are addicted to states of consciousness, to feel high, to feel kind of like feel good all the time. And we might even medicate ourselves to try to avoid feeling low, feeling below, and sometimes this like going down, as we say in shamanic lingo, like down the spiral into the belly of the earth, is for a reason. We need to go find deeper medicine, deeper wisdom. So we have to respect the cycles, our own natural cycles. We can't always be like on the high and be feeling just up for like another success, another great thing. We have to respect when nature brings us down. And of course, if it's chronic, then we can search for help. But naturally, we have these ebbs and flows. So yes, states are really momentarily. They can last an hour, an afternoon, a week, a month, and then we can be in another state of consciousness. But stages is something that we don't regress from. So once my heart has burst open to really see my neighbors and other people as humans like myself, with the same always like similar challenges, difficulties, and also similar potential, then it's much easier to be generous and compassionate. Otherwise, so it's like the more my heart opens up, the higher the stage of consciousness, the more I have the vision, the love, and the power. Those are the three main centers in the Andes: the vision, Yachai, the Munay, the love, Yankai, ability to manifest, to create. So then once I am burst open and I see the need of the world to, like all the children of the world need food and an education and a safe place to sleep, there's no way back. In a way, it's like the movie Matrix. I took the red pill. And once I saw what's really happening, I can't just ignore it anymore. So it makes us more responsible, able to respond. It makes us more like committed to be a sacred activist, as they say today, more committed to be an earth keeper. And once I'm an earth keeper, I don't regress to the other levels. So we're going to speak at some point about our modules in the class that I will be offering.
Yeah,
and that speaks about these stages of consciousness. And just, an example so people get it even more. At one point, I had one of our, community people that just kind of like pops in and out of our retreat center in Chile. She's from Canada, and she called one day, say, "Hey, I have been meditating for the last few days. I'm in such samadhi, I'm in nirvana, and I really want to come and share this amazing lucidity that I'm experiencing, this amazing joy. I want to come and share this with you all," because we were having a gathering in our place in Chile. So we said, "Sure, come on in. We still have, lodging. Come just." So she flew in like the next day. She has a lot of money, so she just bought a plane ticket, flew in. And then she took the wrong taxi. And I say she didn't go with our driver and just took whatever taxi, and the taxi got lost and dropped her at the wrong town. And she was tired, and finally our driver picked her up. And she was so upset, Stephen, so upset that when she arrived to our place, she couldn't even talk to us because she was so angry. So that's a very lucid example of someone feeling so amazing and just so on top of the world and feeling very proud about it. And then, like something doesn't go her way, and boom, that bubble gets burst, and then she's in hell. So she went from heaven to hell so quickly. And that's what doesn't happen with stages of consciousness. You become more resilient to difficult moments, and you become more mature, and it's not always about yourself. And you understand that every challenge, brings a gift, and that's what the Munay-Ki helped us realize.
This is such good music to my ears. I know that what we are all here to co-create is this larger shift, is a new stage of development for humanity that is rooted in the earth, that is based in sacred activism, that is co-creating a world that truly does work for everyone. And so I know that what you're going to be offering in your upcoming course is incredibly important teachings for that shift, which has great personal benefits, but ultimately it's about our service, our soul service in the world. So let's talk about the course. So the course is called the Munay-Ki Rites, Sacred Andean Codes to Ignite the Prophesied Conscious Revolution for a Compassionate World. We haven't talked as much about the prophecy aspect, but it is very embedded within Andean cosmology that this is the time of a larger shift, and that the Andean peoples have an important role, and the practices and teachings can help to catalyze this larger shift in the world. So the URL for this program is sacredandeanrites.com, sacredandeanrites.com. It's a 7-week program. You don't need to have any background with studying Andean shamanism or cosmology. This is really just if you feel drawn to the teachings and what you've heard today and what you've experienced in your own body, and you want to learn more from Marcella. So Marcella, I'd love for you to share some of your intentions for the program and what people will come away with, and then we can go through the modules and give a preview of what's coming.
All right. So this is, again, a very embodied path. Is not complicated. It's complementary with any other spiritual tradition, and is meant to help us become more aware of how we walk in the world. So it's going to become very clear once we start speaking about the modules, because each module is one of these stages. And again, if this is something that you have already awakened in your life, it's going to empower it. And if it's dormant, it's going to awaken it. So it really is just, it's going to nudge us. It's going to just give us a bit of a momentum towards evolving. And in the end, it's to our own wholeness. So we can walk in a more holistic way in our lives and not just disassociated, the head and then the body and then us and our jobs and then nature. And, so live a more like harmonious life in which everything really feels interconnected and like one web, as they say, one web of life, and we're part of it. And what our work is also our passion. And yeah, it kind of like just kind of like nudges us towards that hatunyan, like our soul coming here to do sacred work, and what that sacred work is.
Beautiful. Module 1 is called The Healer Rite, Earth Element. Alchemize your wounds into wisdom and compassion for yourself and others.
Yes, so in the Andes, they really see the need to activate the hands. So what we touch, it's kind of like we give blessings as we touch the world, touch things in our lives. But that, of course, comes from the heart. So the hands are the instruments of the heart. And how place in Andean society, of course, is different how it plays in our modern world, because in the Andes, if an animal, they live right there with their animals, get sick, they want to touch that animal and heal it with their hands. And we might not have any animals in our apartment in the city, but we do want to create beauty with our hearts and our hands, our vision, and the power of manifesting. And to create beauty, we have to be able, and we have to, here I have integrated a bit like the gifts of the Western world. And the big gift, of course, is depth psychology. And to be healers, we have to look at our shortcomings. So look at our shadow. So that's very important for us in the Western world. To become healers, we really have to start with our own selves, alchemizing our shortcomings into opening our eyes and just with courage to see how are we not showing up in integrity. So we really speak about that, how we need to show up as healers in the world. So everything we touch, we bring beauty to what we touch.
Module 2, the Daykeeper Rite, Water Element. Connect with the archetypal feminine for your emotional evolution.
So once we get our own healing journey engaged and is happening, then we don't need to wait until we're fully healed to become like an oasis of consciousness for our community. So the medicine people dedicate their altar not just to themselves, but they light their altar to be a beacon of hope and of healing for the community. So we actually work and just do practices to connect to the feminine aspect of Pachamama, of Mother Earth, of the ground of being from the earth, and embrace the elements and put everything into service to become healers for the community. So it's not only our healing journey. Some people wait forever to put their gifts into service because they are so insecure. But here we start right away. Okay, how can we put our gifts into service? It's not just for us. And we begin by really contemplating our relationship to the feminine energies of the world.
Module 3, the Wisdom Keeper Rite, fire element. Cultivate a healthier relationship with the archetypal father and your inner masculine.
Yes. Okay, so now it's coming more clear. Yes. So the second rite is the Pampa Messiah. It's really like communing with the womb-like qualities of the land that is fertile, gives us food, and how can we become fertile and offer that goodness. So then the next stage of consciousness is to commune with the mountain. And here we ask ourselves, which is our tutelary mountain in Quechua, our Apu, our grandmother, grandfather mountain that is always watching for us and blessing us and giving us strength, and that we can commune with so deeply that when we are just opening our eyes to see, we're seeing from the perspective of the mountain. We ask for inspiration, creativity, and so much more from the mountain. So, and help us heal the masculine aspect of our lives, the father.
Module 4, the Earth Keeper Rite. Honor the interconnectedness of life to stay healthy and wise.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here, once we have been our journey, the journey with those around us, now seeing even further away from the perspective of the mountain, now we see the whole earth. So in Quechua, it's the Curacacuyac, the one that masticates the really fine wisdom that the world needs and gives it in a way that is digestible to others, but is someone that really has so much love in the heart that can really see every human being, every sentient being on the earth as needing nourishment and just be cherished and respected and be honored too. So it takes us to the consciousness of the Earth Keeper.
Module 5, the Star Keeper Rite. Find calm and clarity as you appreciate your life in the vast context of the galaxy.
Yeah, so from here we start looking up to the heavens and remember that we are part of this galaxy and beyond, of course. So we really start like taking our lives a lot lighter when we can feel ourselves just traveling through the galaxy with millions of other suns and just don't sweat the small things. But we also find our star, our guiding star. See, like the three magicians trying to find the prophet and then following the star. So it's the consciousness of the prophets, like finding that star that guides us in our lives. And it's literally, but also metaphorically in our own hearts and inner cosmos. Very beautiful.
Module 6, the Creator Rite. Dream your world into being.
Yeah, so here we're really embracing that we're not separate from the cosmos, and we have all the energies of creating, sustaining, destroying, composting, and creating again. So we really like no more excuses. We just learn to use our capacities to do these four things: create, sustain, or nourish, destroy or disassemble, and then compost. And we always can be recycling our own energies, and then knowing how to manifest and create the world, dream the world into being, actually. So one with the cosmos.
And finally, module 7, the womb initiation. Free yourself from suffering as you clear emotional baggage.
And I really love this initiation because we did not come to suffer, really. And sometimes we forget and we're like constantly suffering. We're the victims forever and ever. And we came to be creators, creatresses. So this is what a lineage of women taught us, that women especially are creatresses of the world that we long for our children's children. And in that way, we are compasses too. And then men also have the feminine, so they can follow the feminine compass. And here I can borrow a little bit from Buddhist tradition. They speak about masculine as the skillful means. So the man can be, or the masculine, sorry, in each one of us, of course, every woman, every man has masculine, feminine, but the masculine then has a compass that is about feeding life, about earth keeping, about creating what children need. And so it's not about building the tallest, the largest, the longest, everything, but for what? So we can feed the children. So yes, these are fierce women that gave us this right to be creatresses and stop holding fear and pain in our wombs. The womb is to create and give birth to life. Yes.
Such a powerful way to close. And then we all share that womb initiation on one level. And so beautiful. So sacredandeanrites.com is where all the details are on this program. We've already covered some of the highlights. So in addition to the 7 90-minute live modules that you're going to get with Marcella, you'll also get time to ask your questions live. You'll get recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts to work with, study, and highlight. There's weekly exercises and practices that you can really do at home and then weave into your daily practices, as well as a Facebook community to support you and deepen your sense of community across the world. You also get a digital guide from Marcella called The Evolutionary Seeds, building on some of the key teachings that you've heard today. There's a second bonus on the page called the Jaguar Transmission. I want to ask about that one because I think that sounds intriguing. Share a little bit about the Jaguar Transmission.
Some of my training was in the Amazon. I spent a fair amount of time in the Peruvian Amazon, working with the medicine people there. And in that setting, the spirit of Jaguar literally landed in my body and allowed me to see through its eyes and then feel what is to walk through life with attention but no tension, and with fearlessness and courage. So I was initiated and authorized to then pass along this initiation, this transmission, in which we can all reclaim our wild self that is not afraid to be walking in the darkness of nature, in the forest, in the fringes, in the jungle. But we are only afraid when we have been disassociated and haven't, some people today, there's like a little spider that crawls into their apartment and they freak out. But like to remember that. So with Jaguar, it's like, wow, we remember how to walk back into the mother, into the forest, into the juiciness of the dark places that are so fruitful for our lives.
We can all use more power, more fearlessness, and more courage for navigating the planet today. There's also one extra bonus I want to share about, which is our special bonus that you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This gives you a little extra encouragement to go through the page at sacredandeanrites.com and tune in and really get a sense if this is the right next step for you. Then you'll get a special bonus for signing up today. This is a video teaching from Marcella called the Sacred Andean Codes Explained. Marcella, you want to share more about that special bonus today?
In this bonus, I will go more in detail about the Munay-Ki as a body of wisdom, one body of wisdom. Each one of the rites is like throwing a pebble in a calm lake. And you see how then that pebble creates ripples, and you throw the next pebble, like the next rite, and more ripples. And that's what happens to the energy body. We receive that jolt, and it can come so softly, but it's gonna for sure ripple, and it's gonna start moving you in your life, and opening spaces that have been tight and closed and knotted. It's gonna start just unknotting that and opening opportunities. For me, it was like I was living a life struggling to pay the bills at the end of the month and worry about my 2 kids, my 2 cats, and my 1 dog. And then the Munay-Ki came, and I literally had a dream in which the walls of this life just fell off. And then I could see my neighbor, and then on another dream, further walls fell off, fell down, crumbled. And my life became just so much bigger. So you could not, I sometimes have I believe it now, but I had a hard time believing that I was the shyest girl in my whole school at age 7. I couldn't even dare to speak up more than a whisper. And here I am speaking to you. But it was really the Munay-Ki that shattered so many limitations in my life. And now I can be here offering this wisdom and inviting you to join if you resonate with my words.
Well, you're an amazing testimonial of the power of this work, just your life path. So thank you for that. And I'll share just a few more things. So we've kept the investment for this program very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128. So you save 10% when you pay in full, with 1 payment of $349. The course is going to start on January 28th and run Tuesdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. Even if you can't make the live times, though, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. And there's some amazing testimonials about Marcella on the page. She's really a very accessible, real, and beautiful spiritual teacher who can help you in your journey of awakening and transformation in profound ways. So you're in really good hands, and you're going to get a profound wisdom transmission that you can really apply for years to come. And it's all at sacredandeanrites.com. So Marcella, we're at the end of our hour together, or actually a little bit more, but anything that's on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the course with you?
You're in for a journey. It is it's just so heartful, and it will help you walk with your heart forward, dismantling all the emotional protections that you maybe had to build to feel safe in the world. So you'll be able to live a more authentic life, more grounded, and really more open, less afraid, well, more relaxed. And really we're going to be empowering your ability to see beyond the end of the month and how you're going to pay your bills. And even as they say in the Andes, 10,000 years from now, who are you becoming? And that's so hard to imagine. But now it was so hard for me to imagine what I was going to be doing the next month. But now I can really contemplate who I'm becoming 10,000 years from now. And at the same, so grounded in this moment, right here, present with what it is, and accepting what it is with great courage. So that's the invitation.
Well, you are a beautiful emissary for this work and a great example of the Munay-Ki rites and how this transformative power of love can be liberated. So thank you, Marcella, for this time together. Thank you all for joining. And if you'd like to go further with Marcella, it's all at sacredandeanrites.com, and you'll get that full Sacred Andean Rites Explained video if you sign up by midnight tonight. So thank you so much. Many blessings.